Hey, there we go. I have a little counter going, so I apparently am live again. So I'm going to pick up. Apologize for a little bit of technical difficulty. Both Carrie and I are having difficulty here. So we just wanted to make sure that we got back on. So thanks for bearing with me. If you signed off and signed back on, thanks for joining us. Again, just recapping. Last week showed you how to start the songwriting process. And this week what I'm going to do is show you a little bit more in depth. Where we were when the internet decided to give us some trouble was I was explaining that in Native Instruments Complete software, I have Contact. It's a really great sampler and sample player and has all kind of great plugins. And there's a thing called Studio Drummer. And Studio Drummer has all these grooves. And Studio Drummer has lots of different drum kits and things you can build with when you're in the songwriting or recording process. I am going to take just a quick second to remind you, thanks for being here. Thanks for joining me. If you could just hit like again or share again, because you might have done that on the old video, and if you're just joining me, it'd be great to have you hit like, hit share, maybe do a watch party, and join me for the next few minutes while we go through this process. So you can change different kinds of drum kits. You can change different kind of grooves. And so my old style, I played a drum sampler, and I would actually play from the keyboard, and I'll show you. I can actually show you right here. I used to literally play my drum tracks, and then I would go in after building them, and I would do editing, and I would adjust as I needed to then. Now with Studio Drummer, and this is a new tool for me. My brother introduced it to me and said, "You've never used this? This is really great." With Studio Drummer, I can find a drum kit that I like. I can find a groove that I like, and then literally there is a play button so that I can audition them. So I pulled up a kit that I like in Studio Drummer, and I pulled up a groove. And the groove goes like, I gotta arm it to make sure that y'all can hear it. So let me do that. So yeah, I can play the groove from Studio Drummer. Now what's so great about this groove is that it synchronizes to the tempo that I've already chosen in my DAW. So that's pretty cool. Now the thing about it is, I can take and I can change that drum kit. And I say, oh, you know what? I want to really change the kind of drums, or I want to change, different elements. You can get pretty crazy. But let's just say I want to do some different things to it. I can get in and I can change things around. Now I'm not gonna do that because I like where we're at. But I literally just chose this groove based on the file that I started to record last week, the song that I started. Then I went in and literally took that track and just recorded a little bit of it, and what came out was the ability to have a drum track that I didn't have to think about anymore. I could just let it play, and then I can build on the thing. So where did I put that drum thing? Right there it is. There it is. So now, I just made a loop of that drum patch just so that I have something to build with. Okay? That's how easy it is to start. Now I've got something I can start with. So now what I did was say, okay, I know that I'm going to play acoustic guitar. I know I'm going to play bass. And I'm going to build this thing a little bit. So I took the liberty, based on my file, I went ahead and I played in an acoustic guitar track with that drum sound, and it sounds like this. Well, it sounds like this if I turn it on. So it sounds like this. Well, it might still sound like that. Oh, let's just do the right thing here. Here we go. Here we go. It sounds... There we go. Now literally, all I did was grab my guitar, plugged it in, I armed the track, and then based on what I figured out from my file from last week, I found that I was playing pretty simple pattern. So that's the chord pattern that I figured out. So that's what I recorded here. So that's what you hear in this part. Then I took the liberty to grab my cute little acoustic bass, and I'm going to show it to you because it's kind of cool. Sometimes there's just too many things sitting around here, but I grabbed my cute little acoustic bass, and I thought, okay, what goes with that recording? And so you go. Okay, I can do that. And then I recorded that. So I'll show you when I add the bass back in that this is what ended up coming out together. So now I had an entire verse that I was singing to, and I had a chorus, and I laid those chords down from my acoustic, laid the chord down with the bass, and I'm going to sit this down, so I'm going to be off camera for a second. But now I have something to build with, right? So that's where I stopped, kind of pre-doing this, so that I could let you in on maybe the rest of it. So that's pretty simple. I mean, there's not a whole lot. You've heard a million different songs, do a million different things. But again, this is just the building blocks. This is just the place to start. I haven't come up with signature riffs. I haven't come up with maybe a better turnaround or a better intro. I'm just getting down something to build with, something to say, okay, when I start singing, it'll be all right on a Saturday night, I've got those things there, but it's not ready for prime time, So what I did then is I thought, okay, well, the next thing I would do is I'd probably play an electric guitar to it. So I armed myself an electric guitar track. Okay, maybe that's what I'll do. So, first, before I record it, I'll just play with the thing and see how it all goes. I go, you know what? Sounds like a decent second guitar part. Again, it's just something to fill out the song, somewhere to jump off, and that's how I started. So, I got an idea. It's not even the right idea, maybe. It's not even going to be the final idea, but it gives me something to play. And I apologize if you hear kind of the crackly thing. Something's wrong with my system. I haven't quite debugged it. thanks for joining me. If you just joined me, I just saw a couple people come in. Good to see you. And thanks for being here today. Again, if you would, hit like, hit share. Let some of your friends and family in on that. And maybe they'll enjoy the music. Maybe they'll enjoy what they're hearing.
We have someone named Mark Bishop watching.
Is Mark Bishop on here? Oh my gosh, I haven't seen that guy in minutes. He actually brought chips and queso up to us just before I started recording. So thank you, Mark. I appreciate that. And anybody else who'd like to bring chips and queso, please deliver them. No, I'm just kidding.
Yes.
My wife says yes. She's a Mexican food hound. So, okay, so now we're just going to go ahead. I've got a basis of an idea. Just basic. I mean, these are just basic blocks. And so I'm going to go ahead and record this this guitar part and just start somewhere. So, there you go. Easy enough. I just armed a track. I just found a guitar part that worked. And now I've got something that's a little more hefty to listen to. Did I actually record it? I didn't actually record it. So here, you get to be with me again while I actually record the thing. Sometimes one button is all you miss. So here you get to learn even the mistakes we make. So here we go. Okay, so now what I was going to do, and I know it's here because I actually see the track, and maybe that's a question you're all going to ask me, is what exactly is seeing the track? I'm not sure that you can see it, but if you can, I think it's pretty light actually. There are different colors here, and the lines go, and you can actually see where audio data is on this grid. So I watched and could see that. Now, what I did earlier, just so that I was a step ahead, is I went ahead and just did this intro and this one verse and this one chorus, and then I took and I cut and I actually copied, and then I pasted it onto the end of that so that I would have 2 verses and 2 choruses, again, something to build on. So now I just played all this guitar part, and I'm going to need it on the next verse and chorus. Again, these are just building blocks, but for me, I want to hear them. So I can cut this, I can paste it, and now I've got all of this data, all of these things I've played. I've got the drums, I've got the guitar, the electric guitar, and I've got the acoustic guitar, the first track, and then I've got the bass. Now, I'm just building blocks. This is not a final. I doubt any of this is what you will hear on. In fact, I don't even doubt it. I'm telling you right now, you're not going to hear any of these things on the final song when I release it, because this is me working. This is me saying, okay, do I like this in the song? What needs to change? And oftentimes, some of the basic things that happen, for instance, excuse me, it's kind of warm in here. Some of the basic things will happen, and my brother, who was with us, could attest to this, is again, I just played the same thing. It's repetitive. It's just something so that I can then end up singing to. It's something that so that I can go, I'm gonna sing this, just another country song. And you swear you heard it before. There's something for me to sing on top of, so I can kind of start feeling the whole song. Well, one of the first things that'll end up changing on top of lyrics, which still need to be written, because I've only written one verse and one chorus, one of the things that'll need to change is probably the drums. I mean, it'll happen, because right now it's just a 4-bar phrase. It's just a loop that I put back and forth so I can play to it. But then what happens is little things, the small little things that end up making the beauty that you start going, okay, this is cool. And many times, and I worked with my brother back in the 90s in our studio, and many times it'll come from something that the bass player will do, or like I'm sitting here playing it, writing it. It'll come from something that happens with a bass line. So, you know, you're going... You know, and so all of a sudden he'll go... Well, now all of a sudden I hear this, ba-da-dum, ba-da-dum, and now I think, you know what? Maybe the guitar should do that too. So then I'll go in and I'll say, okay, well the bass went ba-da-dum, da-da-dum, ba-dum, dum, da-da-da. So then I make the guitar do that. And I grab my guitar and I go back in and I arm that track again. And so when I'm going... I'll go... You know, and I'll try to figure out how to match or accent what the bass did. And all of a sudden now we start making the song go somewhere. And that's the fine-tooth stuff that happens that is well beyond the scope of just building blocks with the song. So usually from here, I've now got a couple verses, a couple choruses, so that I can sit down and I'll listen to the words that I've written. Sometimes I'll grab a mic and I'll go ahead and sing it in here. Usually I don't do that with speakers live because I'll get feedback, so I have to put my headphones on. You know, grab the headphones, put them on, grab a mic, sing, and then I'll be able to listen to little things and maybe even start hearing harmonies for vocal parts. But then it's like, okay, well, what's going to be next? Because now I've got, you know, a verse and a chorus and a verse and a chorus, and where's the song go? I mean, at the end of this particular song, let's just say, this particular song is just another country song. Well, what's that mean? I mean, where are we going? What's going to happen to this? And I got to be honest with you, I have no idea. It's going to happen as I unfold it a little bit and unpack this thing. I know that right now the concept behind this song is that I'm writing one of a million different songs that you've heard. You know, the one line I said, it has trucks and dogs, lost loves and alcohol. I mean, that's every country song. And so the whole idea is I'm just writing another country song, but the chorus is a turnaround. But it'll be all, you know, it's another song, another country song for me to write, but it'll be so fun on Saturday night or whatever I end up saying. The idea is, at the end of the day, when the song's done and we're out playing, that people are going to enjoy it because I'm writing a good, fun song. And even though it has all the cliches, it's a song that we're going to enjoy and people will dance to, and the guys and the musicians will enjoy it. Yes?
Maybe you can implement something about red dirt, which was something we did not know about before.
Oh, okay.
Explain what that is.
Well, I can't really explain what that is. She was saying maybe I could implement even, and this is some process that goes on, you start to learn new terminologies and stuff. When we got here to Texas, we learned that there's a genre of music called Texas Red Dirt. And I don't know, if anybody's ever heard of it, tell me, because I'd never heard of it until I got here. And so Carrie was just saying, well, maybe you could like implement some Texas Red Dirt ideas. And I really still don't know what that is. But I'd have to probably put drinking some beer in a boat going down the river to get my girlfriend in Mexico or something like that. I think that's that is the definition that somebody gave us. So maybe the second verse will be just that I'm drinking some beer in a boat heading to Mexico to get my girlfriend. I don't know. But yeah, that's the whole thing, is this song will unfold from here. And then the next thing I'll have to answer is, where does it go musically? Because a lot of times when you're listening to a song, unless you've listened to Achy Breaky Heart, which is the same thing over and over. You hear the same thing over and over and over for 3.5 minutes. Yes, my wife is holding her hand up. Yes, baby.
We have a comment. Mark Bishop says, bass parts often make the song.
Oh, my brother says bass parts often make the song, and that's just because he wanted me to say his name and his idea on LiveStream. You know, that's true. I'm not going to lie to him. Every part is really important. We all know that. But, you know, I've heard... and that's the bass line. And so sometimes bass things do set up a song. I'm not gonna disagree with my brother. I'm not gonna say it's always, and I'm not gonna say it's the only thing that makes the song. But yeah, my brother is a bass player, as you can tell, and
He says, yeah.
Yep. So that's the idea. Is the bass? But again, this is me coming up with something, and then it'll be played finally after some hits and some changes and some things. And oftentimes that bass thing does do it. So where and that little, just a change in rhythm will be something that drives me to say, okay, the drums should do this, and the guitar should change the chord, and then go back to what we're playing. But back to what I was about to say. The question then comes is, where's the song going to go? And unless you're listening to the Achy Breaky Heart, which is the same 2 chords over and over and over with the same... I mean, it's the same thing over and over and over. Unless you're doing that song, which is amazing to me that it was such a big hit. Usually you're used to having your ear go somewhere else. The song takes you to another place, and usually what we call that's a bridge. It's a bridge from one idea to the next idea, or a bridge from where we were to how we're finishing, you know. And so my brother and I, when we were in the studio, we realized that without thinking much about it, we were really good at simply changing the not the tempo, or we were changing the rhythm oftentimes of the chord structure, and maybe even leaving the drums playing a certain thing, but rhythmically we were changing something up in the chord structure in the bass for the bridge. That we did that several times. But a lot of times it takes a whole different life. So where you might be sitting around going, and that's your main body idea. You know, all of a sudden the question is it going to just do that for 3.5 minutes and that's all we have? So sometimes we'll do something different, and so sometimes, you know, take it in a different direction. You know. And then just go back. It just depends. And there's no real right or wrong to it. It's really kind of where the writer, that's me, ends up feeling at the moment. So sometimes the bridges come really simple, and sometimes they take a while just because you want to get somewhere or you're not sure how. So maybe I will do the bridge for this song with you next week when we're together. But that's just setting it up. That's just setting it up that right now I've got some bases. It's not anything fancy. It's not a lot of embellishment. We're just building the song. This is just getting it to be, hey, is this a song I'm actually going to do? I mean, this could be a song that never gets recorded, or does get recorded and just never gets released. I have a couple songs, even from back when I did the album in 2017, a few songs that are from when I was doing all the singles in 2018, and several songs actually right now that are in various stages of completion, where I went through this process. I built and built and built, and some songs are actually musically all the way done. I mean, re-recorded, replayed, vocals laid, scratch tracks, and harmonies created. And if you heard them, you'd go, wow, that's a pretty complete song, because I went through the entire process. But the upcoming album, that I call "The E Is for Everything," that's the song that I wrote and just decided to make the album title "The E Is for Everything," which I'm hoping to have complete by this summer, if not late spring. The E Is for Everything, that whole album started as about 25 songs, and I've settled down to about 13. But 25 songs I actually have in various structures. If I opened my software for that album, you would see about 25 songs that I started, and then you'd see another file that I opened, which is these are the songs I've ended up with. But various forms and various pieces here and there, some of them very complete. I think from the album in 2017, Walk Upon the Water, I think I ended up with 2 or 3 songs that I had extra that I did not put on the album. One I really, really liked. I worked on it. I had created, it had some cool moments. It was more of a keyboard and drum bass, which I kind of gotten away from, doing a little more of what's my genre that I say?
Ameripolitan.
Ameripolitan. That's where we're at. More guitar based music. So I got away from the keyboards and the big production that I did in some of those songs. But yeah, this song was nice. I thought it had a lot of potential to it. And then I tried to sing to it over and over and over and over and over. And I just could not get it to be a song that I liked. And maybe someday I find somebody who the song, even in its almost complete form, might actually fit vocally. Maybe they could make something of it. Maybe they could even write some new lyrics and just partner with me or something. But I had a pretty complete track that I felt pretty good, that I knew where the song was, and it didn't make it. So that's what happens. But this is part of that process. It's just taking that voice memo and getting it into the computer after doing what your wife says and singing into your phone. Getting in there, starting to build piece by piece. So that's where I'm going to leave you today. I'm going to leave you with, this is building it, just the blocks. Next week, we'll get together, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to be thinking about that bridge, and we'll start building and working on that bridge a little bit. So again, thanks for joining me. Thank you for being here. Thanks for caring enough to spend, especially when I had some technical difficulty. Again, hit like, hit share. Share it with your friends, with people. Do a watch party and watch it all over. And say, hey, I know this guy, or I hope to know this guy, or I'd like to send him chips and queso. That'd be cool. No, I'm just kidding. Thanks, Mark,
Yes,
by the
please.
way. I'm looking forward to enjoying those.
I'm not opposed to it.
And yeah, Carrie loves it if you send chips anytime. So next week we'll work on the bridge. I hope you've enjoyed this. Thanks so much for joining me, and I hope you have a great day. Join me Thursday for, sorry about that, didn't mean to kick that. Join me Thursday as I do another live stream mini concert. Not sure what this week's theme going to be, but Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's 3 here in Texas, and another time elsewhere in the United States. Okay? God bless you guys. Have a great day. Take care.